You know, the NES had pretty much everything you could possibly want. Every classic series, every classic genre. In fact, the only thing it didn't have much of were compilations. And that's only because, hey, gaming was still kind of a new thing. There wasn't much to compile. But even then, it still had a few. And the compilations it did have were pretty spectacular. There was Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunts, and there was Donkey Kong Classics. So, these are two of my all-time favorites. I mean, I think Donkey Kong is one of the best platformers ever. And I think Donkey Kong Jr. is one of the coolest sequels ever. And I've reviewed them both many times here on Classic Game Room. The individual NES versions, lots of various eShop versions. But much to my surprise, we've never reviewed this version. And this is a really important version, so this is a chance to fix that. It's also an excuse to play more Donkey Kong. So let's set the scene. It was 1988, and the Nintendo Entertainment System had become a massive success. Nintendo was suddenly the biggest name in video games, and they made sure to keep their biggest names at the forefront. I mean, in 1988 alone, they released Super Mario Bros. 2, Zelda 2, and just for good measure, they re-released two of their earliest hits, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., together on a single cartridge. Not exactly a bad year to be a Nintendo fan. But when it comes to content, you might consider Donkey Kong Classics to be a bit of a cop-out. I mean, all Nintendo did was take the original NES versions and throw them together, untouched, with no improvements, no additions. And that's worth pointing out, especially in regard to Donkey Kong. The original NES version was missing an entire level due to the storage restrictions of early NES cartridges. And that level could have been easily added back in for Donkey Kong Classics. So, if you're looking for negatives, that's one. It's like the only one in this freaking compilation. So, yeah, the two games are identical to the individually released NES versions. Nintendo made one change for Donkey Kong Classics. That's the menu screen. Now it's blue, which, holy crap, Nintendo, take her easy. Just cool your jets. Although actually, it's got a new piece of music too, made specifically for this screen. And like most Donkey Kong music, it is awesome. In fact, it's one of my favorite Donkey Kong songs. And that's just the menu. And once you get to the games, well, much like a monkey, the awesome only climbs higher. There's so much you could say about Donkey Kong. And I've said it in lots of reviews here on Classic Game Room. Arguably the first true platformer, the first game to tell a story. I mean, when it comes to the evolution of gaming, Donkey Kong's paws are all over the place. And perhaps the most amazing thing is how well it still plays. Mario's climb to the top of the construction site is still a fantastic platforming experience, as well as a serious test of skill. And hey, this is one family where the kid really is a chip off the old block. One of the things I've always loved about Donkey Kong Jr. is how it's one of the earliest examples of a video game sequel, and yet it's also a perfect video game sequel. It gives you a crazy plot twist, with Mario actually playing the bad guy, and it builds on the original game's mechanics, which, I mean, that's always been pretty amazing to me. Donkey Kong was arguably the very first platformer, and yet with only the second game, Nintendo was already changing things up and moving the concept forward. Anyway, to hear me talk more about these two games specifically, watch our reviews of the NES and Wii U versions in particular. I've said all there is to say about them in those reviews. I'm not going to say it again. What I do want to talk about is the artwork. See, now this is what I'm talking about. This is the artwork for Donkey Kong Classics, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. Two great games in one game pack. Indeed, Nintendo. So obviously I think it's a really well done piece of artwork and really clever and really smart marketing by Nintendo. It's just a brilliant, one of my favorite NES pieces of NES artwork. I don't know, what do you think, Donkey Kong? Oh, you know he likes it. Although he is not a fan of the mallet. Oh no, Donkey Kong, no! I know you're not happy about it. You gotta get over it, Donkey Kong. You gotta move on. It is awesome artwork though, isn't it, Donkey Kong? Yeah, it is. And you know what? He's right. Donkey Kong, though angry, is right. These are two of the best Nintendo games ever, packaged together in one of the best NES games ever. Sure, it would have been great to have Donkey Kong's missing level added back in, but hey, what are you gonna do? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna play them, and you're gonna like it. Because even in 1988, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. were already classics.